His third wife, named Oriebo, in a polygamous setting in the ancient city of Benin Kingdom. His other four wives became extremely jealous because he loved Oriebo dearly, and so they went to a priest to make a good concoction for them, so that Equase might love them all equally. But instead, the voodoo turned the man against his heartthrob and murdered her. Now, the tragedy. Obiebo embraced the Kwase and Kwase pushed her down. Obiebo said in astonishment, "Remember how much I love you. I live for." That's not the issue. He must die now. And so Kwase murdered Obiebo. Immediately, he surrendered himself to the police and was arraigned before the court the following day and was sentenced to death. He pleaded for clemency, but the court overruled life for life. And so he was hung. That's the story.
A quick, a short one. Uh, Good evening to all of you. I was not supposed to. Um, I was not supposed to come online this evening because I am so tired. Uh, been a very stressful week, most especially when you want to plan a very big program like the kind of the one we had in Port Harcourt yesterday. Uh, I am happy, very, very happy that we're able to have a huge success yesterday. Um, it's quite unfortunate that we also lost another of our amazing musical maestro, impression of um, Sir Victor Waifo. Um, it's quite painful. It's quite painful that we've lost. I apologize for that. Let me increase. Sorry, a call came through. Let me increase my volume. It is quite very unfortunate that we've lost a very, very important and daring musical maestro in the person of Salvatore Efosa Waifo. It's quite very painful and quite very unfortunate that we're losing our very best. But we appreciate his legacies. We appreciate the time that he has spent with humanity and how he has been able to use his music to influence our generation. And we're thankful, we're grateful for that. So I think that's all I have to say about this. It's a very great person. And it's a very big loss to us as a people, as a kingdom, as a people, as a country, and to the entire world. I'm doing very fine, Mr. Osas Obas. Well, today's live program is just to talk about a little bit of uh, what happened yesterday. Yeah, well, first, our journey actually started as a journey of Amen. Praise someone. Yeah, our journey actually started as a journey a couple of years back, 5 years back, as a journey of those um, who love history, who love history. Someone who have always studied history. I get intrigued by a lot of history flying all around uh, with the works and the books I was able to gather. I loved reading all of those history. But it got to a point and I was like, I need to start making history rather than reading history. Uh, we are making history every day, and we made another unprecedented history in River State. Um, out of the 14 kingdoms, eight of the kingdoms were represented. We are fully on ground, and and it's a plus. Um, it shows we are on ground. It shows we are on ground. We are not. We are not social media propagandists. Those who dwell in propagandas Lede and Zembo. Lede and Zembo. There are 16 kingdoms that makes River State. 16 kingdoms that makes River State. 14 of the 16 kingdoms have been in ancestry. For those who are making mounts on social media, let them call a conference, let them call a summit, and then they invite 16 kingdoms. If they will get one kingdom, if they will get one kingdom to attend. So of the 14 kingdoms in River State, 8 kingdoms were represented yesterday. But we assure you that in the next, and we had a very strong resolution yesterday, and the resolution is very simple. We are going to build Benin Kingdom's charter, in the sense that there's going to be a sort of just like the British Kingdom has what we call the Commonwealth, the nations of the world that makes up of the Commonwealth. It is the ideology of the British to propagate the ideas to their colonized country using the concept of the Commonwealth. Now, we're going to have our sort of Commonwealth, but this Commonwealth is even more unique because it is built by blood and ancestry. So, all of the kings agree that effect from this year, they will all be coming in groups, most especially from River State, to Benin, to discuss matters that will uplift great Benin people within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. So we're doing all of the works, we're making all of the histories. If we are consistent in the next 5 years, River State is going to be a clear extension of Benin people, because that is what it is. But we have to make them see through diplomacy, and that's what we are achieving. So this is not a matter of, like I tell people who calls me all the time, I said, it's otherwise transcendent beyond social media propaganda. Anything that I've set aside to do, I have eventually be doing all of them. Anybody can say whatever they want to say on social media. It is not. Most times when I tell people that when I get tagged on arguments, I don't argue. I am more focused on rather, I am more focused. No. Well, in 3 years' time, Izodowa is going to relegate the Igbos entirely to the 5 southeastern states they can lay claims to. And I can give you words. I challenged, you're an Igbo person, in fine. I challenge any Igbo person to call a summit or a conference of the 16 kingdoms in River State. I challenge, this is a challenge that is otherwise given to anybody who wishes to make mad on social media. I did it. Of the 14 kingdoms that trace their ancestry to Benin, 8 attended. The video will be out in about 1 week. 8 of the royal majesties attended, and each of the 8 kingdoms were represented by not just them, In short, the cameraman, the initial the venue cameraman was an Igbo person. He was mercilessly thrown out of the venue yesterday. The entire kingdom, when they heard, was like they don't want to see any Igbo person around the vicinity. So we are taking absolute control. Whoever wants to make mouth on social media should go ahead and make mouth. So I give them a challenge. Let them come. There are 16 kingdoms in River State. If they are not aware, I'm not telling them. Let them call a conference When they should call a conference. If any one kingdom should attend, they should prove it and put it on public. Now, so the matter can be. And the matter is, we are no longer going to be dwelling on propagandas. We are no longer going to be dwelling on propagandas. They have to be facts. They have to be facts. The next year, aghada will either hold in Warri, in Delta State, or in Bayelsa State. We're taking it to either Delta State or Bayelsa State. So your question, my friend Peter, we decided to make it an aghada, a river state, because we had a point. We have an exclusive idea to reach out to every single Benin descendant or wherever they are located. So either Delta or Bayelsa State is going to host next year aghada. So I'm just giving you a tip of the iceberg. When we're done with our first range of visitation, then we're not taking back to Benin. Wherefore, I assure you, in the next 3 years, or 4 years, after going through the cycles that we want to go through, then we will not do an homecoming. The homecoming will be where we'll be expecting 56 kingdoms. That is our target. 56 kingdoms within and outside Nigeria will come. That we will call it the fellowship of aghada, the homecoming. By that time, we are done with what we are set out to do. So I emphatically tell you people that if anybody calls you guys minority, tell them you're not. Because that's what Nzoduwa will achieve in 4 years from now. In 2025, I will so unite all the Benins all over the world that you will become one of the most populated black ethnic groups of the black origin. So when an Igbo person tells you that they have river states, tell them that they are stupid as the way they sound. They are. When an Igbo person says that they own river state, tell them they are stupid as the way they sound. They have been rejected by every single ethnic groups in river state. Even the Ikwere. 3 Ikwere kings, Iwunroha kings, were represented yesterday. 3. Anyway, I just wanted to inform all of you how successful it was, and to let you all know that we are no longer talking history, we are making history. We are no longer in the business talking history. We are now making history. And that is what we are very satisfied with. We're very confident. We're very, very satisfied with all of our achievements in the past 4 to 5 years. It's been tough, but it's been worth it. All right, it's been tough, but it has worth it. And I'm so proud having a lot of this kind of conversations, of having to give reports. So it's just like the other time when the Yorubas were saying that they own the Ga people, that they own Accra, that the Ga people and the Accra people are them. I went there to tell them that, listen to what the Ga people are saying. Listen to what the Ga people are saying. They are saying that they are Benin origin. And if some break over from the Ga people that was in Benin, eventually pass through the Ife land does not make them of Ife origin. So we are busting their bubbles every single day. The Igbos and the Yorubas. I've dealt with them, these people, for the past 4 years. Let them make mouths. Let them run their mouths. I don't take them serious. The only people I take serious are the people who goes to ground, you have to be on ground to get Mavis attention. If they say they go do one summit now for Delta, I say Delta was a standstill for them. And that will get my attention. And I will say that no, the Ikwere do not have several origins. The founder of the Ikwere people, stop lying. The founder of the Ikwere people is one person. You have to understand, Ikwere do not have several origins. The founder of the Ikwere people is one person. And you must have to understand that. The man who left Benin is called Akalaka. We have the original history. We don't have the propaganda that you guys have online. The man who left Benin is called Akalaka. He had 3 sons. 3 sons. The first is called Ekbeye. Those are the owners of the aghada. The second is called Ogba, or in Benin, Ogba or Ogba. And the third is Iwiriona, Iwunroha, which the entire Ga, not which place exactly, the entire Ga traces the ancestry to Benin. All right? The history of the Ga people is encoded within the sphere of the Nongwa people. The Nongwa is one of the clans of Ga. They owe the history. The Nongwa people got to Accra before every other persons got to Accra. So every other Ga people that later came to meet the Nongwa people gave lands to them. Nongwa owns Accra. And the Nongwa people are telling every other Ga people that you are a breakover from us. So you cannot say you are Yoruba when we, who got here first, say that we are Benin, and you the breakover. A breakover cannot be a Yoruba when the original stock say that they are Benin. So I think I've analyzed that in Master and Peter in one of our class. Maybe you can go back to one of our live video when I talked about the Ga, my journey to the Ga to Accra. That was just about less than 2 months ago. So like I was saying, I think I was talking about something about when the guy was trying to say, when that liar was trying to say that the Ikwere people have several origins. They are not several origins. The founder of the Ikwere people, or what you now call the Ikwere people, is a pure Benin man. He was the last born of Akalaka. So if Akalaka is a Benin man and Ekbeye are Benin people, I found a girl. People should stop disturbing my life. Ekbeye are Benin people. Ogba are Benin people. Now, if a father has 3 sons, I found a girl. If a father has 3 sons, the father himself is a Benin man. His first son is a Benin man. His second son is a Benin man. Then are you not saying that the 3rd son will not be an Igbo man? I beg. Let me not get distracted by all of these guys. Like I've said, you said you don't have anything to prove. No problem. The Benins have a lot to prove, and that's exactly what we are proving. We have a lot to prove, and that's what we are proving in River State. We're taking over River State. Watch me when I say that. Great Benin has come to take over River State. And by next year, I'll be done. So I'll move to other states. I'll be done. I'll move to other state. I say that with all authority. All right? And I'm not offensive about it. I'm not being rude or arrogant about it. All right? I'm not being offensive about it. I'm just saying, prove your propaganda. You cannot tell the people. I said it in the speech. You cannot tell the people their story. You must allow the people to tell their stories themselves. All right? You cannot tell the story of the people for them. The people have to tell their stories for themselves. And there is none of these kingdoms, these 14 kingdoms, that we say that they are Igbo people. None. 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 So, that arrogance of the Igbo people trying to claim the people that have rejected them over the years is sheer stupidity. I have never seen people on planet First that is so arrogant as these people. These people have rejected you people many, many years ago, and they are still rejecting you people. How you people continue to call them bastards, to call them, because anybody who doesn't tend to agree with them, the beauty is this. Let me tell you, the advantage that the Benin people have that the Igbos or the Yorubas or whatever can never have is that we have an history. That's why they are attacking our history. We have an history. And that history has given us so much advantages. And that's the history Mavis is holding on to build the commonwealth of the great Benin nation. The commonwealth of great Benin nation. It's getting very clearer. In 5 years, it will be done. It's not going to take me 20 years. In 5 years, God willing and ancestors willing, it will be done. All right? So, after we've pushed them to their 5 states, then the specs of the Benin people within the 5 states that they have will come to analyze the matter. How one do our people missing inside the 5 states for Igbo land. Now, which one do them? After we don't push them to the 5 states, the Benin people for inside the 5 states will consider analyze them how one do them. Now, which one will do them with that? Though they say they make man. That's what a lot of people told me 3 years ago. That Izodowa makes mouth. I'm sure they don't see me like that anymore. That Izodowa makes mouth. Izodowa doesn't make mouth. Izodowa tells you what he wants to do, and he goes ahead and do it. God and our ancestors has given us such grace. We don't fight. I'm not violent. I'm not violent. I'm not violent. I don't. Okay, if I get hungry at times, I insult, but I hardly do all of that. I'm not violent. I cannot forcefully be insulting people. I bring fact, I bring diplomacy, I bring convictions. I have a word of my mouth. I have a word of my mouth. I have a word. Oh, fine. If that's your argument, I agree with that. Idu was part of Igbo land. Igbos returned from their land in Idu. Okay, all right. Now we want to bring those Igbos that you said were originally from Idu. We want to bring them and return them back to the Igbo land, which is now Benin land. All those Idu people that left Igbo land. You said the present-day Benin land belongs to Igbo. Those Idu people that left Igbo land to wherever, with the Benin's now want to go and bring them back to their Igbo land, which is Benin. That's what we want to do. All right? Exactly. We're going to get all our people, and we owe you no apology. All right? We'll cut them off from River State. That's what we want to do. We'll cut them off from River State. When it has dawned on them that River State is no longer theirs to claim, the entire Biafra dream dies immediately. They will need River State. In short, they need River State more than they prefer the River State more than if there are 5 local government court states. You know, Edo State is bigger than 3 Southeastern states combined. If you're not aware, you should. So by the time we cut River State from them, I don't talk about Igbo people, but I just wanted to tell them that this is what I have done. That what was achieved yesterday by Association of Great Benin Descendants. You understand? You understand? By the time we cut River State, you will never see them agitate for Biafra. Because River State is Biafra. Without River State, they can't do Biafra. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Uh-huh. Someone even said 4. Outside Enugu is a bit big. I think Enugu is about 7,000 square kilometers in, 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 in geographical size. The rest are about 3,000, 4,000. Edo State is 17,000 plus, almost 18,000. It's only Enugu that is like 6,000. The rest are like 5,000, 3,000, 4,000. Edo State is almost 18,000 kilometer square miles. So by the time we knock Edo, knock Delta, knock part of Bayelsa, knock River State, then when we are done, we enter West. No. My brother, do you know what I'm... See, some of the people, a lot of people have always called me and said that why have not been concentrating in Edo State, in other zones in Edo. No. I have a plan. You people have to understand. Those people within Edo State that are still trying to see themselves as different from Benin. By the time I'm done knocking it from River State, Bayelsa, Delta, down to Edo, you understand? They will have no choice other than to follow the greatness that is about to be unveiled. So that's why I'm not concerned about in bankers and all of that. By the time they see the push that is going to come from River State, from part of the Bayelsa State, they will know, say, the Benins are back. The Benins are back. So, all of these things are no longer, it's doable. I've worked so hard in the past 5 years. I'm in the best position to say that it's not doable, it's doable. All of those people that is shouting Biafra, that are of Edo or Benin origin, let them keep shouting. They will come back and shout Great Benin with love, because the wave of what will happen that's what's going to happen. So, like I said, I'm not going to spend time today. I just wanted to congratulate all Great Benin people and all Great Benin descendants all over the world, and to let you all know that we are working. All of you that call me all the time and say that this is what is happening, this is what is happening. If you people should understand one very fundamental thing about me, I feel the pains of every Benin people who genuinely wants greatness to be restored back to our land. I genuinely feel the pain. And I'm doing everything practically possible with my group, with my association, to ensure that we change those narrations. We change those narrations. I feel all of our pains. I feel all of the people who are supposed to be part of us, who are insulting us and all of that. I understand that a lot of people feel pained about it. A lot of us feel pained about it. But you understand, I have a focus. I'm not going to be distracted by it. And when the people get to understand fully the concept of my ideas, then they will understand that because of my cause is bigger than so many irrelevant, some certain things that are not too relevant. Let me not call it irrelevant. That are not too relevant. I will leave time to take care of those little problems while I take care of the big problems. For Great Benin to be great again, I've always said it. We need we need unity. We need population. We are currently about 4 million. In 4 or 5 years, we will be up to 20 to 25 million. And that's my target. A 20, 25 million people is huge. And that's what we intend to do. So share the good news. Tell everybody something great is about to happen. River State, they are already singing the songs of their ancestry to Benin. They are singing the song of their ancestry to Benin. And it is already getting very loud. In about 1 year, it will be almost too loud. Our next focus, I'm not going to review it. Our next focus, I'm not going to review it. I'm not going to review it. Between now to December, we'll make another unprecedented history. We are already cooking it. By October, November, when I begin the year, the news again. So by December, I'll not say I've done two major things. Two. So Muna wait. More history will be made in few years, in few months, in few years. Efosa Esoge, what I do not have control over, I cannot, I've said it severally, Izodua cannot do everything. Izodua cannot do everything. If there are criminalities in the land, there has to be other people so that I don't lose focus. I've always told people, if Izodua has wanted to solve criminality issues and all of those people taking our lands from the boundaries and all that, in the past 4 to 5 years, I would have solved those problems. But I picked a course. The course was basically intellectual. That I'm going to fight our land, from the intellectual perspective and begin to intellectually find ways to reposition Great Benin and make Great Benin great again. That was my course that I chose 5 years ago. And if you know me, I'm a very focused man. I don't delve into issues, and that's why you are seeing results now. So I cannot be doing this because this is the most difficult. I cannot be doing this and I still be fighting headsmen and all of that. The other time, when it became so viral that they're trying to coronate a Sultan of Sokoto, I had to let the team, a very good team of very patriotic Benin people, to look into critically and find ways where we can solve. And the videos are everywhere. So I feel concerned by all of these things happening, but it's just that I cannot be everywhere. A lot of people have to also come out to face a lot of problems. So I can concentrate on this particular one, uniting all Great Benin descendants all over the world. Once I'm done, we cannot talk about petty things. But before then, anybody can run with that. It doesn't have to be Zodua that has to resolve all of these issues. Anybody can come out and say, yes. And we'll come out and also support the person, just like every other person has also come out to support our group. One of our brother, a couple of our brothers, so he called me and said, I have to be safe. We cannot. We've lost quite our good people in recent times. We can't lose you. I have to be very. He called me off 3 times and said, I have to be very careful. And I was like, I'm very careful. All right. I'm very careful. Very careful of the fact because of the wickedness of the world. Izodowa cannot harm any fly, but people are desperately wicked. I've chosen a path where I feel that there shouldn't be issues about warnings and violence. Like, it has to be intellectual. What Izodowa does is that, okay, if you feel that River State belongs to the Igbo people, then prove it. Call for a summit, call for a conference. Call for a summit and come for a conference. There are 16 kingdoms in River State. Call for a conference and assemble these 16 kings or these 16 kingdoms. All right? So that's the kind of thing. The other time that they say they're going to look for me for worry, I called a couple of them. They actually saw reasons that, okay, in all of this, because I was convinced based on the information presented to me that this is not supposed to be the king. This is supposed to be the king. And I heard some people were saying that they were waiting for me in worry. And I was like, I told a couple of them that that's the height of childishness. All of the insults now, they insult Benin people and the Oba of Benin Palace. Then I come here say Shekiri people, they come see the Oba of Benin tomorrow. That's what I told them at that time. And that's the kind of person I am. Then I can't say, "Mo go block them for road." Those are primordial thoughts. What does it concern me? I talk my own, you talk my own. My insult will not remove anything from your king's body or anybody's body. Neither will your insult remove anything from me. Because we're meant to deal with some of these issues intellectually. And sometimes, well, I use some vulgar words, which I will minimize them. It is unlike me. Okay, maybe I've been pissed in recent times. It's unlike me to insult people. I have to have a very high form of decorum. Like, you understand? So I have to have a whole, I don't really understand. So I'm trying to be that's why I hardly comment on issues. I'm trying to be as careful as in order to not to insult people, because I feel that the best way to convince people is to be very diplomatic and have a superior argument to present. That's how anybody can convince me. You can't convince me through insults. All right? I know sometimes a lot of these people are deserving of it, but let me try as a person. I'm not saying any other person should use my tactics. Um, so, that's my own tactics. I should not be insulting people. I should just tell the people what I feel about matter and try to convince them by the superior argument that I have. And if I feel that your argument was superior, but if it wasn't convincing, my job is to go get more facts so that I can make my arguments more superior. This is how healthy intellectual conversations are built. All right. Who is that? Okay, I think I have to block that for Shogi, because you cannot be using Benin name to hide under the Benin name. All right? I have just proven to you. I speak English. I don't know what is wrong with our people if it's one of us. I speak English. It doesn't make me an Englishman. My name, the name that I was given in my house is Malvis. I was the one who gave myself a Zodowa. That was 3 years ago. People who calls me Malvis, I would know that people really know me Rich House. Because that's what I was called. All right? That's what I am called, Malvis. But it doesn't make me an Englishman. These people were fucking colonized. The Onwan people speaks Yoruba. A lot of them bears Yoruba name. They're all one people. But it doesn't make them Yoruba. Because when we were on the Western region, the Yoruba tried to enforce the Yoruba language on our people. Most especially Onwan. It now became more visible at the Onwan region or Onwan district. The River State was also under Eastern region. So they were also forced to speak Igbo and bear Igbo names. But they are not Igbos. No, now I've always said that there are some certain things that I do now. When some people don't do it, I just tell them that there's a level you get. There's what we call self enlightenment. There's a level you get after some years. You now begin to know some of the certain things that you were recognized as being stupid. I got to that level 3 years ago, understanding that why would I be my argument at that time was show me any Englishman that bears a Benin name, then I will retain my English name, Marvis. And nobody was able to bring an Englishman that has a Benin name. And I was like, what would the Benin man? A typical local breed Benin man. Oviedo ne say. What would a typical Benin man be doing with an English name? So I threw that Marvis to the Culters. And today, I'm proud that I chose the name Izodowa. Since he am I even Izodowa. So if I have that kind of self-enlightenment, do you think any of my children will bear any English name? Just, I don't know. What would I be doing with that? What would I be doing with the English name? The self-enlightenment. I'm not saying anybody should do that, but I'm just saying that there's a level you get to. It's called self-enlightenment. You get self-enlightened to the level you now begin to see some certain things are stupid and foolish. I've gotten to that level. I'm sorry that I speak English, but I feel that it's much easier. Maybe that's the only level I've not gotten to. But in time, I should get to a level where I can have conversations like this in pure Edo language. Anyway, I thank all of you. I am so tired. I've had a very stressful past 3 days. Uh, Sorry. Oh, let me read it. Can't I have not. I've been trying to contact someone that is very close to. That was a day before I traveled. I tried. I tried. I tried to reach. I tried to reach the family member. I couldn't. The Her number wasn't going through. So I had to leave a message with the brother to help me call them while I wasn't around, if there would be any information to let me know. So I got back not too long ago. So from tomorrow, I should go ahead with what I had promised I was going to do for you. All right. So I apologize for not being to get back to you all and all of that. Some of you who called to make inquiries about that, but I'm sure in about a day or two after today, I'll be able to I'll be able to do all of that. Okay, so be able to do all of that. So it's okay. So I'm rounding up now. Uh, I thank all of you. I have to, for the purpose, next week Sunday. I've been promising that I have to have an open line where people can call to ask questions and all of that. So next week Sunday we are starting a fresh topic on, I think a continuation. I have to the series of Paidu, Efa Emehi, Ubinin Igodo Migodo and Edo. I've not concluded that series. So I think I only did part one. I think next week Sunday we're going to do part two So I'm going to refresh our memories because I think it was on 4 or 5 weeks ago. I'm going to refresh our memory, and then we can do part 2 next week Sunday. So I talked about Paidu, all right? So let's now talk about where how Paidu migrated from Benin, where he was buried, and where he was now referred to as Oren and Nuher, and all of that, and the children that he had, and how they returned back to present-day Benin land, and how these 3 lines of his children now form what we now call the Benin people. And then these are some of the things we're going to look. Then I will not talk about how the word Ubinin came to be. That will be part 2. Then part 3, we will talk about Igodo. We'll talk about the Ogisos. Then we'll not talk about the interregnum between the Ogisos and the Obar. Then we'll not talk about the Ogiamien Wahala, all of those Ogiamien fallacies. Then after which we'll not talk about some of the Obas and some of the earliest events that took place during at the beginning of the second dynasty. So the series is going to be very exciting. If you're able to follow me if there are going to be 5 topics or 5 lectures on this particular series, I'm sure that at the end of the lecture, you should be well grounded enough to defend your history anywhere you go. Anywhere you go, you should be well groomed and grounded enough to defend your history. If you can follow the series from the part 1, I'm going to do part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, or maybe part 6 of these the origin of the Edo people. I've already started it. So I've done part 1, so we'll do part 2 to about part 6. So if you follow from our part 1 to about part 6, I'm sure you'll be well groomed. And then some of you who want to get better informed on some of the a lot of people want to make it more scholarly, like you want to know some of the references or some of the places I read some of these things. You are always free to ask, this what you said, how sure are you, where did you get some of these informations? Yeah, you are free to ask where I got those informations from, and I'm sure by God's grace, as far as it's an information that I'm talking about, I should be able to tell you which of the books that I read it from, which of the authority, which of the articles, which of the intelligent report, which of the excerpt. I should be able to tell you that go to this book. If you can be able to get this book, or this is where you can get this book, you can read this particular topic from here and all of that. So we're not just talking, we're talking with references, but because it's oral, maybe I don't get to mention references. But if you call in or if you ask question, I'll be able to tell you where some of these references, where some of these books, you can find them. Should in case you also want to have a glimpse, you also have to have not a glimpse now, you want to have a detailed understanding of what I say or what I have said or what I have lectured. So that's how it has to be. So we have to always provide references for some of the things we say, so that people doesn't say it's otherwise said it. I don't think it's correct. I've had a brother who attacked me that I always claim to know, but where is my reference? And when I showed him my reference and I snapped the page of the book of what I was just explaining to him, he was devastatedly in shame. Now to call one of my brother to call me to apologize. That was about 3 years ago. So I always have references for what I say. So just in case people want to ask. So these things that I say, I didn't just uproot it. I wasn't there when it happened. So people had to document a lot of these things, where I read it from, and references can be provided. So I just wrote a book called If Ike, Ikaladeran, that book. The actual spelling of Ikaladeran is not E, it's I. Ikaladeran. It's I. That book was written in 2003. Why I can remember it's 2003. I've read the book Ikaladeran. Why I know it's 2003. It's long ago. Book was published was that during when, or by why, I think that 2003 or 2004. During when Obayeri published the book, I remain your obedient servant. The Yoruba said all of those things. So when um, um, Edwin Kenzwa was trying to reply some of the Yoruba scholars, he actually had asked them, because I read it not too long ago, about 6 months ago, when I remember Paedo was asking some of the Yoruba scholars like Professor Wo, Shoyinka and all of that to go and read that book to get better informed of who a Caladera was. No, that book was published in 2003 or 2004. I've read it. It's an interesting book. But I don't know whether it's still on print, but it should still on print since the writer is still alive. We can get it. But it should be quite expensive. It should be up to between 15 to 25,000. Well, I think I also need to get a copy of that book. I'll look for it. When I see it, I'll use this week to look for that book. When I see it, I'll get a copy for myself, and I'll also reach you in our next live. Ask me the question, then I'll tell you how much the book is, so that we'll look for ways where we can make that book available for those who wants to buy. All right. So Kaladaran, written by Edwin Kezra, is quite an old book. It was not published recently. Anyway, well, yeah, so I'll see you guys I'll see you people. Let me be more respectful. Like surely I should be. I'll see you people on Sunday, next week Sunday, and it's going to be an open line. It's going to be an open line. It's going to be an open line. I don't get strength to do. I'll find that. Bama Oshomo Yufo. Usiomo Yufo. I will investigate, and then probably next week, our next live program, I'll be able to tell where we can. Where I also want to get a copy, because all of these books I've read them quite some time ago. I need to have all of this book all over again. I need to reread all of these books all over again. I need to read all of the books I've read before to refresh my memory. Is really very important. It's really very important, so I can be accurate in dates, times, and years. Some of these things happen. So I thank all of you. We're doing all of the things that we do for the sake of our generations unborn and the sake of all the generations that will come after us. Okay, so I thank all of you, and wayagi yesi. So and why yesi? Ikpon waya between sanu does so I'll see you guys next week Sunday. So I'm going to talk about you. You say I'm very tired. So I'll see you guys. Good night to all of you. Bye, always.